Damion, the Pirates came away with a pair of victories at home last week. You played a great game and pulled away from Pacific Lutheran, shooting over or nearly 60% from the field, and then battled against a determined Puget Sound team, again shooting 60% in the second half and pulling that one out. Just take us back through the weekend and what we continue to build on.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we shot the ball well because I thought, both of those teams caused had a significant threat offensively, and we battled both nights trying to find some solutions on the defensive end. So I'm glad that our shooting percentages were good on the offensive end to kind of counterbalance. I think that both their offenses are a tough combination to have to prepare for in a single weekend, and traditionally both those teams have just been tough-minded, kind of physical teams. So you have to grind out the victory, and I'm glad our guys were able to do that.
You had kind of an interesting week in that you were on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday prepping to play Puget Sound, and then found out on Thursday actually you're going to play Pacific Lutheran first. How did you manage switching up the game plan like that?
We were already preparing kind of back and forth for both of them because, like I said, I think both of their offenses are pretty challenging. And so, I guess you have that extra day to maybe refocus on the first opponent. Although, to be honest with you, part of you just wants to get to the games at that point. Throwing in an extra day of prep for 18 to 22-year-olds isn't necessarily something they want to do. They want to get to the contest as well. So it didn't change a ton. In some instances, it could. If, for example, two teams are, polar opposites, all of a sudden you have a press team on the first game as opposed to the second game or whatever, which is actually kind of the case for the women having the press team on the second day. So, but for us, I don't think the order changed up too much.
We're getting to that part of the season now, the second half of the conference schedule. We're very familiar with everyone you're going to play down the stretch, beginning this weekend with Pacific and Willamette. Do teams try and pull a surprise, do something different than they did the first time around when you see them the second time?
Yeah, I think to a certain degree, yes, especially with these ones since we saw them in early December. So it's been a long time. Teams were only a few weeks into the season, so there's been a lot of growth for everyone. So this weekend in particular, you really have to revisit because there could have been a lot of change between when we first saw them and now. But yeah, to a certain degree, you know what the teams are. And I think that familiarity makes every weekend game challenging. But I know as a coach, you look for the little things that maybe they haven't seen or the little changes that maybe you've seen in their game and make sure you're prepared for them. So there are opportunities as a coach to maybe throw a curveball, but it's only going to probably be a small percentage because it's tough to change your identity at this point in the season.
And speaking of identities, what is it that Pacific and Willamette do that will present us challenges this weekend?
Well, both the teams shoot from the perimeter a good deal. And, any team, that can be a challenge if teams are making shots from the three-point line. That can really equalize things. And, we've had a good shooting percentage mainly from the two. We definitely have to do a good job in our transition defense in locating shooters, in taking care of the ball. Pacific definitely, they still press and cause some chaos, and taking care of the basketball is going to be important for us. And I think the first time around also, we shot the ball really well against Willamette, and they maybe didn't have the greatest shooting night, and I think they are probably thinking we haven't seen the best of them, which is probably true. So I think both of those games might not necessarily look the way that they did the first time around, second time.